starting another type of more traditional company in Latin America very different, or they're facing essentially the same challenges?
I think essentially you face the same challenge. As an entrepreneur, you face the same challenges in general all over the world. I think being an entrepreneur has to do with commitment, has to do with passion, has to do with the belief of what you're doing, has to do with really believing that you can change the world in many ways. And I think that is really what differentiates an entrepreneur from somebody else. Our countries and our region certainly offers new and additional challenges, which have to do with all the things that Marcelo has underlined very well. But I think whether you do high tech or whether you do a traditional business or you do something else, I think an entrepreneur has to have the ability to withstand criticism, to withstand people not believing what he believes, to have the passion to understand what you think. You may be the only one who believes in it and nobody else believes in it. And people will challenge you. People will face you and say you're crazy, what you're doing can't work, what you're doing doesn't make any sense. I left school a little bit earlier than Marcelo, about 20 years ago. Across the river, I apologize for that. But when I left, it was a completely different environment. And I remember very well that most of my colleagues at the business program were either getting hired by the consultants and the investment bankers and what was traditional at the time. And I was thinking of doing a business in the movie cinema. And when you think of movie cinemas, think of it. It was an industry even 20 years ago that was 100 years old. So talk about old. Talk about an industry that really has absolutely no technological sizzle of any kind. But it really was about transforming an industry, and it was really about doing something innovative, of something that has been done for many years, but in a different way. And many times as entrepreneurs, or people that want to be entrepreneurs, are thinking or waiting for the time when the sky will open and a big thunderbolt will hit you in the head and hit you with a new... And that doesn't happen. That doesn't really happen. And you have to think that many ways what great entrepreneurs do is find a way to be innovative. Not just in the technology sense of the word, but in innovating the sense of doing things better than others. In finding ways to transform things that are being done in processes where simply adding more value to everyday simple life solutions and needs of people. And if you're able to find that, I think capital is the least of your problems, and what really has to do is how you face the challenges of pushing through your idea and getting through all the things that have to do with regulation, with government structures, taxes, lack of funding. At the time when I started my business, talking about venture capital in Mexico, risk capital, was really speaking Chinese or Iranian in Mexico. What the hell is that? No? And we were trying to raise $6 million out of school to start a business from scratch, from a business plan, to do cinemas. Everyone we talked to would just look at us and say, this guy is really out of his mind. You know, who's going to give $6 million to a guy who has no experience, has never managed a company, 26 years old, come out of a business program, he wants to do movie theaters, which, by the way, are crappy and going down the drain in Mexico. And the truth is...
Sorry, what was the innovation of your cinema?
Well, let me put it this way. In Mexico back in the 90s, which most of you were young kids, most of all of you. back in those days, when you went to the movies in Mexico, those of you who are Mexican here will remember that we used to say that to go to the movies you had to carry a brick and a stick. The brick was to sit down and the stick was to scare the rats away. So, finding innovation was really not very tough. What was really incredible was that nobody had thought of it before, you know. Certainly we were surrounded by a structural way of doing things, where the government owned the theaters, where the box office tickets were controlled, the price was controlled by the government, the unions controlled the employees. You had to hire what we call similars, or a similar was somebody you hired to do the work, because a unionized guy would not do shit. So really, I'm sorry for the unionized guy. So when you think of all these issues, we really changed the movie industry, or we in many ways changed the service industry in Mexico, how things were thought of. And when we were raising capital, and all of us when we were trying to do a business, we're always thinking of how much money we need, and we saw this at the business plan competition yesterday, you know, and how much money do you need? Well, maybe we could start with $100,000. The truth is, you believe in something, go for it big. Like Marcelo is saying, go for high impact. You know, raise enough money that you're going to need, because raising money is hard enough not to raise enough in the beginning. The worst thing you can do is run out of money. And when we're doing this, our investor, which was actually JP Morgan, who did not invest in Mexico, you did not find VC firms investing in Latin America, said to me in a phone call when I was raising $6 million, he said to me, you're absolutely wrong, you're not asking for enough money. I said, well, you know, I know how you think, but please explain to me. and they said, look, you'll build your first cinema with $6 million, your first 2 cinemas, you'll do great, you'll change the face of the industry. The next thing that will happen, you'll be raising money, and other larger companies will come in and just wipe you out. The best you will do is sell your cinemas. So you need to raise really a lot more money so that you really can continue. And remember, we did this in the middle of the tequila crisis in Mexico, the worst economic crisis. We did an initiative that had basically no technological innovation of any kind. And we just said, how do we make something that people do need, which is entertainment in a better way? We raised $20 million, and we created a company that in the end, after $60 million of investment over the life of the company, we gave out to investors 4 times their money. It's not what the guys from Facebook did, of course, but certainly nobody was crying all the way to the bank. So, and I would be very happy to, as a fund today, as a fund manager, to invest in businesses that, while not probably in the high-tech wave, are able to, people who were willing to back people who are passionate about changing things in life. And if we can give returns of 4 times, 5 times, 10 times the money, I think we're doing great for our investors. We're doing great for the company. Today, Cinemex employs more than 6,000 people. It's probably one of the 10 largest entertainment companies in the world in terms of cinemas. And it was started from scratch. So creating economic development for a country has to do everything with the ability of our people and supporting those people that we have in our countries, which have the passion of doing things different and have the ability to make that happen. Because in the end, as we heard in the prior panel, it's also true for entrepreneurship. Execution is the key to everything. If you can really execute, you have the team, that people that have not only the passion, but have the execution ability.